Maxim, tell me how to communicate with a woman on the first date. First of all, a man should be able to answer women's questions correctly. Do you know how a woman tests a man for mental maturity? Here at the very beginning of communication, the beginning of texting or on the first date. She asks a question to which there are only two possible answers, right and wrong. For example, are you greedy or generous? No matter how the man answers it, the woman will already be in the top position because it's she who evaluates you at this moment, not you, but she. Moreover, if you are greedy, then you risk losing her favor. Come on, get better. And if a man is generous, then it's good that we met. Let's check it out now. The trick is that a woman offers two extreme options. That is, either a miser or a philanthropist. No one wants to be a miser or a philanthropist, but there's no intermediate option here, a moderate one that makes good sense. That is, the girl is now in the role of a strict teacher, either gives you a D for being a cheapskate or puts an A for being generous. And now a whole army of naive men thinks that if a woman puts A's, then she'll definitely love him for it. Well, of course not. The ratings are given to the one who's at the bottom. And it's absolutely not about the money. I can buy her something or I can't. I can. But I don't need her to put marks for it. I don't doubt it. I didn't ask for it. It's clear that they just throw an elastic leash on you. That is, you're behaving well today. Well, okay, I'll lower the leash. Go poop. If you misbehave, then you'll be punished. In general, it's important to stop such things right away. How would it be correct to answer such a question? Are you generous or greedy? Well, you can say something like this. It all depends on the woman. Let's get back to discussing this issue right after a hot breakfast and a hearty dinner. Are you generally self-caring or not? That is, it turns out that we're already starting to give her grades. This is a certain interception of the initiative, since she has already started to play outside the rules. We also make it clear that there will be no pseudo-charity here, no losers here. And the woman likes it. She likes that a man is not a dummy that you can play with like a doll. The most important thing is that this whole discussion shouldn't contain negativity. There are men who seriously believe that women get high from henpecked men whom they push around. This is complete nonsense. A woman gets high if you, with a smile on your face, can beat her intellectually without hitting and arguing. The option that I offer, it doesn't contain this. I don't start treating her that she lives wrong, thinks wrong. If you start doing this, well, the game's over. You've lost. Exactly. Because of the same template, a woman can ask you, are you jealous? That is, two extremes again. Either a jealous, which means a complex and insecure person, or not jealous, which means she can do anything. Hang out with friends, communicate with her ex. How good. A woman, again, deprives you of a reasonable answer. And what could be answered, for example, to such a question? Jealousy? I don't see any sense in it. Why endure discomfort? My woman can't behave like that, and if she did, she'd lose my favor. But I don't see any tragedy in this. That's it. That's enough. And then, the woman who's sitting with you on a date, she understands that it's risky to do this with you, because you're ready for action. But yes, someone can continue to provoke you and say, and I have male friends, so what? I would answer, nothing, I sympathize them. You're a cute girl, but they can't do anything with you. Okay, let's not talk about sad things. You and I have a completely different story. So, here's my advice to you. Avoid extremes. There's no need to turn into patience, because if you just shut up, nod your head, then a woman will always be able to appeal to this in the future. That is, if you do have a relationship there, she'll always be able to say, well, you said you weren't jealous. You didn't mind. You knew I had male friends when you met me. But at the same time, at the other extreme, you shouldn't start arguing, proving something. This is a guaranteed way to kill interest in yourself and turn into a brainiac. So, a naive man thinks about what pleasant topics to talk about when meeting. And the smart man understands that it's not what to talk about that matters, but how to talk. He understands that a woman will grope him, possibly provoke him. I've had this happen a lot in my life. I remember one lady began to suspect that I didn't really approve her explicit photos on social networks and said, "What should I do with this? And why are you against it? I like to do it." That is, she tried to involve me in an argument. What did I say? I said, "Listen, well, I don't really care about that right now. We're at the very start of pleasant communication, but one day we'll need to prioritize. In general, I have a very good feeling. The story of you and I will turn out to be very pleasant, maybe long-lasting. So I have no doubt that you'll make the right decision." And even if you got a violent woman, and of course I have had this happen, who will continue to argue with you and say, "I won't delete anything, I'll do what I want." Well, you can just answer this with a smile. Just relax, why are you so tense? It won't hurt. Everything will happen by itself, you'll see. In general, the key idea of the video is that a man makes a fatal mistake when going on a date just to show his parameters, such as "I am Boris, born in the USSR, such mileage, earn that much, kind." And then the man just waits, will she fall in love with me or not? This misconception has given rise to many myths that women only need the rich say the beautiful are needed, the beautiful say the young are needed, and so on to infinity. It's not some parameter that a woman needs. A woman dreams of a man who's able to influence her mood and her picture of the world. What's it about? For example, you have some kind of misfortune, crisis, problem in your life. You meet your best friend. If he's inferior in terms of emotional intelligence, the maximum he'll tell you in the form of support is, "Don't get upset, everything's done for the best, everything will be fine, it's been worse." This is unconvincing. And what do you start to feel when someone says that? You're feeling worse. It would be better not to calm me down at all and not to try to cheer me up somehow. I'd rather go home and be alone with myself. But if someone from your environment has a comparable emotional intelligence or even higher, he'll choose the right words, the right reasoning to show new horizons, to find the pros. And you'll feel much better at this point. We always hold on to such people. Always. A woman needs the same thing. And it's possible to reveal how developed your emotional intelligence is only through such careful provocations that you may not even notice. I understand that I myself was once in a position where I had it all atrophy. I was going on a date and all I really cared about was how to stress less, how to seem more confident. I only needed ready-made schemes step by step, although they didn't exist, but nevertheless. And yes, I was also worried that there would be no awkward pauses in our dialogue. What would we talk about? I needed to sweet talk a woman, maybe she'd fall in love with me. But this is such naive reasoning, honestly, I'm telling you. That is, if a man thinks that way so far, there will be no effectiveness. And for this reason, I suggest a practice. Practice, this large amount of interaction is what develops your emotional intelligence, and in the right area. Therefore, right now, in the first pinned comment, there is a course, The Master of Online Dating. Turn communication with a woman into an interesting ride. Moreover, it can be messages, can be calls, there are all needed examples. This is a virtual practice that's available to you today. And then the situation will change.